Hi everyone, Professor Snart checking in as we exit Unit 11, which was focused on revision, although, as I mentioned in the previous announcement, really a lot of our units are focused primarily on revision as opposed to producing new work all the time necessarily. But we then move into our third and what will be our final workshop unit, Unit 12. So what you'll see in the unit itself is that we are now down to enough people where just one single, slightly larger group is actually going to be most productive for us, I think, in terms of the workshop. Everything works pretty much the same as far as submitting your work as a file, being sure you're responding in pretty specific detail and at length to people, giving them feedback they can actually use to, take that next step towards applying some of that feedback in terms of a next revision stage. So notice that the unit that we've just finished, the revision unit, like I said, is often built into a lot of the other units that we're looking at, especially things like the workshops, which are really kind of the core units for a class like this one. Okay, just a couple of reminders then relative to the workshop due dates, because we want both the time for people to submit their work but also then get their feedback. We have the unit with two due dates going on. So the first due date is Sunday, November 6th. That's the date by which you've submitted your work as a file through the appropriate discussion board here. And then next Wednesday, our usual Wednesday due date, November 9th, is when you've provided feedback to everybody who submitted their work on time. And notice again that the group is bigger this time. So as opposed to responding to maybe one or two or three people, there's maybe double that you'll be looking at. So give yourself enough time. Don't just check Wednesday night and hope to get feedback that's meaningful to everybody all at one shot. You may want to do it just a couple of people at a time, a couple of poems at a time. It's also worth kind of noting here, just in terms of the units and due dates and that kind of thing, especially when you factor in Thanksgiving, we're getting actually towards the end of the semester, which is hard to believe. It sometimes feels right now like we're right in the middle of it. We're well past the middle, and like I said, once you minus out the that Thanksgiving week, we are down to maybe the last, what would it be, 4 weeks or so, give or take. So we are getting towards the end. So good time to check to make sure, see where your grade is at. If there's any work that you submitted or didn't get credit for, or something weird has happened, be sure you're finding that now rather than scrambling at the very end of the course. And of course that you're staying on track as we do get towards the end. Now, especially with things kind of ramp up in all of your classes, probably with final projects or papers or exams coming up. Life gets more stressful, honestly, because the holidays are coming. And there's lots of good things about the holidays, but they do produce a lot of anxiety for people. The weather changes, just all this kind of stuff is going on. So time management, that simple skill really becomes even more important than normal. So good to be aware of that. So maybe take a look at the units that are coming up, check those due dates just to see how things are unfolding as we get down to the last few units for the course. And do your best to stay on track, obviously with this course, but kind of with everything that's going on as we get into this time of the year that I sound like one of those old teachers now, but I sort of see the same thing happen every fall semester, is this gets into the sort of make or break time. People end up, if they don't manage their time right, they end up having to kind of make choices about, well, I guess I have to do this stuff for this class, which means that I'm not going to get this stuff for this other class done, and that's not a choice that you want to have to make, right? You want to be able to divide your time equally and manage your time successfully so that you can devote attention to all the stuff that needs attention. And like I said, this is the time of year when there just seems to be a lot of stuff that needs attention. So anyway, if you have any questions or concerns, be in touch with me. Otherwise, good luck with the workshop.